So I remember there was a big gathering in the street, and they were all out there, and people coming out in their houses and this, that, and they all gathering in little circles. And I said to Mum, "What's happened?" And she says, we're going to fight the Germans." I said, "What do you mean we're going to fight the Germans?" She said, "We've declared war on the Germans because they've got nasty and they've invaded Poland. So we're going to fight them." Now, nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. And then it became about a week later, and everybody was looking for the Germans. "Where's the Germans?" they used to say. "Where are they then?" Because we never heard anything about the war, but it gradually got worse. Then we started to get air raids, things like that. We'd be called out. We could always, you'd hear the sirens go off, and it was a wailing sound, right? A wailing sound. Then they put these little Anderson shelters down the bottom of our gardens. So we'd disappear into the shelters and we'd stay there until we heard the all clear. Now my dad, he was not able to go to the war, so he had a job fire watching. And he used to spend the nights walking on top of the markets in the town, looking for fires and spotting and this, that and the other. And we used to sit in the shelter, which was for the chickens really, because we had straw in there. But Mum and Elsie and me, well, Elsie was 7 years, my sister was 7 years older than me, so she knew a bit more about it than me. But my mother used to say, "Come on," we'd go down, we'd get in, and we could always tell the German planes at night because they had a wowing wow, 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 wow like that. Yeah. But our engines was bzzz, so we always knew when the Germans was coming over. And then you'd hear the whistling of the bombs and, you know, then you'd see the searchlights go up and you'd see the tracers, bullets and sky, and then you'd hear the blasting going on. And that happened so often. But my mother used to say, she used to cheer us up. She used to say things like, "If you hear the whistle of the bomb, it's not for us," you know. Yeah. And in a way, if you work it out, it wasn't, because if you could hear it, it wasn't over you. You know, you'd hear, and then blump, you know, floor would shake or something like that. And then she used to say, cheer us up, she used to say, "Come on, if we're going to die, we'll all die together." So that's what it did. So really felt really cheered up, but it never bothered us. Yeah, it went on, and sometimes at school, we'd be in the air raid shelter at school. There were sometimes we had to stay there all night because they had a day raid, followed by a night raid, and it was nobody'd fetch you in your car. In them days you were sent to school on your own. There was no cars anyway. And the teachers used to say, "We can't go out today, so that's it." And they used to go off. At one time, we used to play in the woods, Chelmsley Woods, and there was a dogfight in the sky over Solihull way of Antonin. And they shot this bloody German plane down and he'd come out in a parachute. So in our gang, because we was the dead hand gang, we called ourselves in them days, with knee-high grasshoppers. And we decided that we'd seen the parachutes, we'd go and capture him with our wooden guns and our bows and arrows.
And so how old were you then?
Oh, I'd be about 9 and going 9, 10, yeah.
Going to capture a German?
Going to capture a German. My mother, she worked all through the war. She walked from Kitts Green Road right down to Marston Green and back every day, through thick and thin, through bombs, bullets,
and what was raids. That to do?
She made armaments for the war effort. It was really a perambulator factory where they made baby pans and invalid chairs, but they changed during the war. Anyway, the war went on. It was ways and means society. If you could earn a crust for doing a little job. I'll tell you one thing I did once. Mrs. Clark, she had some rabbits and she wanted some hay. And I did work on a farm with the German prisoners. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And anyway, she said, "I want some hay." Well, I was to go down and when we reaped the corn, we used to stack the hay like that. You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
And I said to her, "I'll get you some." Well, I knew where Lakey, the farmer, was reaping. Well, And I went down there and I went into the field at night and I took a whole sheaf, you know, which it's still got all the corn on the top, it hadn't been threshed.
Yeah.
And I give it to her and she gave me a shilling. And I thought, I can earn a lot of money like this. When the war agricultural, they ploughed everything up.
Yeah.
Pye Park was ploughed up. All the parks were ploughed up and they were growing crops, wheat, corn, everything. And the German prisoners of war, they were sent to the farms on the war ag. Well, I went down there in the school holidays to help on the farm. And I used to drive a tractor. I used to drive a tractor when I was 6, 7, with the Germans on the back. Germans on the back. And I'd be driving the tractor, big Ford St Major, because they were dead easy. And they were throwing the corn on and building the stacks, and then we'd take them to the farmyard and build the haystack.
So when did you find out that you were being evacuated?
Yeah, that was a sorry time for me. Mum came and said, you're going on holiday. I said, why? She said, all the children are going on holidays. I said, because the bombing's getting so bad, and it really was. It was hammering down. We're going to send you on holiday so you can be safe, but you'll be coming back. Don't worry, you'll be coming back. So Elsie, she was 7 years older than me, and they gave us a gas mask and took us to town. And there's hundreds of kids there.
Yeah.
And they put us on the train. And the mum and dad, I seen mum crying. And the train pulled off, and we went to Leicester. Yeah. Where was it called now? Colville. Yeah. Colville in Leicester. And we put in this great big room. I remember it so well. The big room. We got little bags of whatever we got. A couple of sandwiches. And was in this massive room, and it was like a cattle market. There was lots of people there picking us, taking us. I love it. Well, this one woman, she came up, and I was with Elsie, and this woman said, I'll have this girl. So Elsie went to walk away, and I screamed my head off. Yeah. I literally screamed my bloody head off. I can remember it so well. And this woman said, well, we can't take you. We haven't got room. We can only take your sister. And Elsie said, you're not taking me without him. I said, well, I'm very sorry, we'll have to leave you as well. Well, then this other woman said, I'll have you too. I remember her. Never forget her. And she took us to Green Lanes, I remember that. And her name was Mrs. Starley. She was the most evil woman I've ever met in my bloody life. Yeah. Anyway, Elsie then, being 7 years older than me, she said, I've had enough of this. And she left. She's gone. And the police brought her back. They found her on the railway line, walking towards, she never knew she was going towards. She thought she was going back to Birmingham, you see. Anyway, it got worse and worse. And there were some people across the road, Mrs. Mapp. They got a lot of information. And they relayed back to my mum and dad what was happening to us. You know, no way. Anyway, to get your kids back, you had to have an excuse. You can't just go and get them back. The government wouldn't let you. Yeah. So what happened was, the Germans must have had a spare bomb, because they dropped it in the field behind us. Really? And it went off with a bang, and it got back to, by the maps, that there had been a bomb at the back of where we were. So Mum showed up with Dad, said, if you're going to get killed, you'll get killed with us in Birmingham, not here. And Dad took us back. We used to go to school, and in school we had a huge pile of scrap metal. But most of it was bomb damage, or shrapnel, or a bit of fin off a bomb, or shell. You'd see it all on the road going to school, and you'd pick it up. You had to be careful, because sometimes it cut your fingers. Yeah. It was so sharp, you know. And you took it to school, and you put it in the corner of the playground, and we used to make this mountain of scrap. And they used to melt it down and shoot it back at the Germans, I think. And one day, in leaving his school, I remember Norman Harrison, his name was, we get to school, and Miss James, her name, a Welsh woman, Nonky comes in, he's found an incendiary bomb. And it's stuck in the mud because there was a big incendiary raid. Matter of fact, if you go up Reed Village, you'll see all the marks on the roofs where they had a bomb. But he pulled it out and it was alive. It was live.
Came to school with it.
And we came to school with it. And we went in and I had some crap and I threw mine on. And he come in and he said, I found this, miss, and he put it on a desk. And she says, oh, just leave it there, Norman, I'll go and fetch Mr. Barley. So Mr. Barley was the headmaster. And he said, he come along, oh my God, where'd you find that, Norman? He says, it's stuck in the mud, sir, and I pulled it up. He says, oh, he says, I'm very sorry, but I shall have to take it away.
So what do you remember about VE Day?
We had, it was when the war was over, there was all in the streets, there was all singing and dancing, and the soldiers were coming back, and we had all these tables lined up all down Kitts Green Road, for not only Kitts Green Road, Yockleton Road and Moosecop Road. How they did it, thinking back now, I never know, but we had tea and everything, and don't forget, we had no electric kettles, and we had no electric stuff, we had lights, yeah. And but how they did, they brought big cauldrons of hot tea out from the houses. Gosh. And where the food came from, I never know. They must have stolen it and hid it. Yeah. But the food was all lined up. It was all singing and it was all dancing and the Union Jacks. It was super.
Yeah. Absolutely. What was your first memory of thinking, right, the war's over and this is our next step in life? What made you think, right, no more air raids? And
yeah, well, really, it was so low key. Yeah. It was so low key. We'd have to watch ourselves all them years, and it's all finished, and everything. It never finished. It never finished like.
Yeah.
Because they stopped shooting each other, but then we had another war where we got no food. And we were still on ration, so it tapered off. It never went vroom. Tapered off. We were all really friendly during the war. Nobody, you could leave your doors open. Nobody stole anything. They all palled it. You still get the beer. My dad just said to me, go over the pub and ask them what beer they. The guy who was the barman, I used to have a signal. My dad gave me a signal for him too, and he'd tell me whether the best beer was going on or the bad beer was going on. If you took a pint jam jar or an half pint jam jar, half pint for half a pint of beer or a pint jam jar. So he used to go like this, like pints are on, or and that was that. That's how it was after the war. Yeah. We were still on ration, and it was a gradual sort of changeover.